Thank you for the invitation to provide a brief update from the National Religious Vocation Conference, whose mission it is to serve as a catalyst for vocation discernment and the full flourishing of religious life for the ongoing transformation of the world. When thinking about this update, this is the image that came to mind as the best way to describe vocation ministry in 2020, as vocation directors navigated new ways to keep connected with discerners and inquirers. While in the national office, on March 25th, the Feast of the Annunciation, the NRVC released its fifth study. This new research focused on recent vocations to religious life in the United States, the women and men who entered between 2003 and 2018. There are 5 key findings in this new research that I'd like to share with you very briefly. Countless women and men have responded to God's call every day, not just on the day they entered or professed vows. The majority of religious institutes in the United States are accepting new members and are promoting vocations. About 20%, which is about 150 institutes, have at least 5 or more people in initial formation. 60% of religious institutes have at least 1 person in initial formation. Newer entrants are drawn by prayer, spirituality, charism, community life, and mission, which compares almost exactly to the 2009 study. The size of the institute is not a factor in their decision to enter a specific religious institute. Matter of fact, only 11% were very much influenced in their decision-making to enter their religious institute based upon the size. Sometimes we can become so fixated in the number of sponsored ministries and members using numbers to count or measure success. But newer members aren't looking at our numbers. They're looking for a charism that's relevant and needed in our world today. At this time in our US history, community life is more intercultural and intergenerational than it ever has been. One of our well-worn excuses for not accepting new members seems to center around age and age gaps. But only 16% of newer entrants were very much influenced by the ages of their members in their decision to enter their religious institute. This report also indicated that 13% of members are under the age of 60 and 13% 90 and older. And newer entrants know this before they enter. See, because age is not as important to them as we think it is. Would it surprise you to learn that 93% of newer members prefer to live with members of different ages? This study also recognized that just as in 2009, those in initial formation are more diverse ethnically and racially than those in perpetual vows. There was a 12% increase in entrants of diverse ethnicities and races since 2009, and the majority of newer entrants are from middle-class families. When asked about preferences for communal living, we wanted to know more about community life than the number of people in the local communities. And the majority thought it was somewhat or very much important to live at or near a ministry site. And 82% wanted to live simply, in solidarity with people at the peripheries. Unlike previous generations to religious life, they recognize that stewardship involves of divesting of empty buildings, underutilized property, and sponsored institutions to live more simply, utilizing human and material resources to benefit the neediest. There are countless examples of sisters, brothers, and priests who are living the Beatitudes, defying the culture of indifference, and have dedicated their lives in ministry with people who are marginalized, neglected, and abandoned. In a time of right-sizing, this key finding is hopeful information because they're not afraid to let go of buildings and institutions, perhaps because they have no memory of sacred spaces filled to capacity. Newer entrants realize that they have entered religious institutes that are characterized as smaller congregation and aging membership. Their abundant hope is pragmatic and audacious. They realize that there have to be more deliberate efforts at networking and collaboration, and this can help them and their institutes to extend their mission. We know that demographic changes are affecting all vocations and institutions, yet the Spirit is leading women and men who are discerning, applying, being formed, and making profession in a variety of religious institutes and societies of apostolic life. This study asserts that religious life is a vivid narrative of transformation and perseverance. In publishing this report funded by the GHR Foundation, the National Board and Office wanted to make sure that one of the critical components was to move the focus from the data to the newer entrants themselves. The NRVC is making every effort to provide the stories of call behind the numbers. The materials are available at the NRVC website and are publicly accessible. We have many images of newer entrants to dispel the notion that they are only entering a few select institutes. Just recently, the NRVC has published 77 videos on our YouTube channel of newer entrants and senior members talking about their lived experiences in intercultural and intergenerational living through grants from the Hilton Foundation and SOAR. In the near future, a story map will be released as a living document to provide more information about the people in the study. We encourage you to read through the information and to use it widely. Thank you so very much for your ministry. Thank you for your support, and know that we too hold you in deep prayer, admiration, and respect. Thank you.